Stop whatever you're doing and pay close attention, because the next few minutes could literally alter the course of your existence. Your brain is processing 11 million bits of information per second, but you're only conscious of 40 bits. That means 99.9996% of your reality is happening outside your awareness. Think about that for a moment. Everything you believe about who you are, what you're capable of, and what's possible in your life is based on less than 0.0004% of the information available to you. You're making decisions, feeling emotions, and creating your entire life using a fraction of your actual potential. This isn't speculation or philosophy, it's cutting-edge neuroscience. At this very moment, in your brain, there are neural networks that are literally preventing you from seeing opportunities, possibilities, and solutions that are right in front of you. Your consciousness is trapped in what scientists call a reality tunnel, a tiny slice of what's actually possible. But here's the extraordinary part. These neural networks can be rewired in a matter of hours using a specific method that combines quantum physics with neuroscience, a method that's already helped thousands of people break free from their limited reality and step into what can only be described as supernatural abilities. Right now, in this exact moment, your brain is firing off millions of neural connections, creating patterns that will determine your entire future. But here's what most people don't know. Those patterns are about to change forever. Scientists at the University of California recently proved something extraordinary. Your brain creates new neural pathways in as little as 4 seconds when you focus your attention, that's right, 4 seconds, to start rewiring your entire reality. Let me tell you about Sarah, a woman who sat in one of my workshops 3 years ago. She walked in with chronic anxiety, depression, and a lifetime of limiting beliefs. She sat there just like you're sitting now, thinking, this is just who I am. But within 48 hours of applying what I'm about to share with you, her brain scans showed activity patterns identical to those of experienced meditation masters. 3 months later, she had completely transformed her life. No medication, no therapy, just pure consciousness and intention. You're reading these words right now because something inside you knows there's more. Your consciousness has brought you to this precise moment, and it's not by accident. The message I'm about to share could literally alter the course of your existence. I don't say this lightly. I say this as a scientist who has witnessed thousands of people completely rewrite their futures using these exact principles. Every second you spend operating from your old programming is a second lost from your potential new reality. The information you're about to receive isn't just another motivational speech. It's a scientifically proven method to literally become supernatural. Your future self is calling. Will you answer? Your life right now, every thought, every feeling, every action is the product of unconscious programs running in your brain. These aren't random. They're precise neural patterns created by every experience you've ever had. Think about this. 95% of who you are by the time you're 35 years old is a set of memorized behaviors, emotional reactions, beliefs, and attitudes that function like a computer program beneath your conscious awareness. Every morning you wake up in the first 20 minutes, your brain shifts into the same neural patterns it activated yesterday and the day before and the year before that. You brush your teeth the same way, feel the same emotions about your job, react to your family members in the same patterns, all while believing you're making conscious choices, but you're not. You're running on automatic, letting your past experiences determine your present reality. Here's the critical distinction you need to understand. Your brain is designed to function in one of two modes. The first is survival mode, where you're constantly scanning for danger, living in stress, and allowing your emotions to drive your thoughts. This is where most people live. They wake up, check their phones, and immediately trigger their stress response. Cortisol and adrenaline flood their systems, their hearts move out of coherence. They're surviving, not creating. But there's another mode, creation mode. This is where true change happens. When you step out of your emotional addiction to the past, when you stop letting feelings of unworthiness, anxiety, or fear drive your actions, you enter this elevated state. Your brain starts producing different chemicals. Instead of stress hormones, you create hormones of joy, inspiration, and possibility. The secret most people never realize is that they're addicted to their emotions. Every feeling has a chemical signature in your body. When you feel anger, your body produces a specific blend of chemicals. Feel anxiety, different chemicals. Your cells become addicted to these emotional cocktails. That's why change feels so uncomfortable at first. You're literally going through chemical withdrawal from your old emotional states. But here's where consciousness comes in. Your awareness, that invisible force that can observe your thoughts and feelings, is the key to breaking these patterns. When you become conscious of your unconscious programs, they begin to lose their power. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, what was controlling you becomes visible, and what's visible can be changed. This isn't just theory, we've measured this in the lab. When people become conscious of their unconscious patterns and make different choices, their brainwaves change within minutes. Their heart rhythms shift, their immune systems strengthen, all because they made the choice to stop being a victim of their past programming and start becoming the creator of their future. Let me share something remarkable about your brain and quantum physics. When scientists studied particles at the quantum level, they made an astounding discovery that these particles exist as waves of possibility until they're observed. Your thoughts work the exact same way. Every potential for your life exists as a wave of possibility in the quantum field until you observe it with your attention and intention. Think about this. Your brain processes 400 billion bits of information every second, but you're only aware of 2,000 of those bits. That means most of your reality is happening beyond your conscious awareness. But here's the exciting part. When you learn to shift your brainwaves through meditation, you begin to access these deeper levels of consciousness where change becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Your brain operates in different frequencies throughout the day. Beta waves dominate when you're in your normal thinking state, analyzing, judging, comparing your present to your past. But when you slow down your brain waves to alpha and theta states through meditation, something extraordinary happens. You start accessing the operating system of your subconscious mind. It's like gaining access to the source code of your reality. We've measured this in thousands of people. During our advanced workshops, participants wear brain mapping equipment while they meditate. Within minutes of entering these slower brainwave states, their bodies start producing new chemicals. Their heart coherence increases, their immune system strengthens, but most importantly, they begin to move beyond the analytical mind that keeps them tied to the past and to the feelings. It says the feelings will move to the senses that we enter into right now, and life finally changes. Everything in the universe is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts and emotions aren't just abstract concepts. They're electrical and magnetic signals that interact with the quantum field around you. When you feel gratitude, your heart generates a measurable magnetic field that extends several feet from your body. This field affects everything around you, including your own DNA. Let me give you a practical example. Maria, one of our students, had suffered from chronic pain for 12 years. Medical tests showed severe inflammation throughout her body. During a week-long meditation retreat, she learned to enter these deeper brainwave states while maintaining a clear intention of health. By the fourth day, her inflammation markers had dropped by 47%. By the end of the week, her pain had virtually disappeared. Her doctors couldn't explain it, but quantum physics can. She had literally changed her body by changing her energy field. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's happening in your external world and what's happening in your internal world. When you create a clear intention in meditation and combine it with elevated emotions like joy, gratitude, or inspiration, your brain and body begin to change before the actual experience happens. You're literally installing the neurological hardware of your new reality before it manifests. This is why understanding brainwave states is so crucial. When you're in beta, you're thinking within the box of your past experiences. But when you slow down to alpha and theta, you begin to transcend those limitations. You access what quantum physicists call the unified field, where all possibilities exist. This isn't mystical thinking. It's supported by the most advanced research in quantum mechanics and neuroscience. The mechanism is process, which moves energy from the limbic system into the cortex, which is the center of our brain. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you might challenge everything you believe about who you are. Your personality creates your personal reality. Every morning when you wake up, you unconsciously recreate the same person you were yesterday. You think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, and make the same choices, all while expecting different results in your life. But here's the truth that most people never understand. Your personality is nothing more than a series of memorized thoughts, behaviors, and emotional reactions. It's not the real you, it's just the you that you've become by unconsciously repeating patterns from your past. Think about this. If you've been thinking the same thoughts for years, those thoughts have created specific neural networks in your brain. These networks are like well-worn paths in a forest. Your thoughts automatically follow them because it's the easiest route. The chemistry of your emotions plays a crucial role here. Every time you feel anxiety, your body produces stress hormones. Every time you feel joy, different chemicals flood your system. Over time, your cells become addicted to these emotional chemicals. When you try to change, you're not just fighting against thoughts, you're fighting against a chemical addiction at the cellular level. This is why most people fail at creating lasting change. They try to think positively while their bodies are still addicted to negative emotional states. But here's the key. When you understand this process, you can use it to your advantage. Instead of letting your emotions create your thoughts, you can use your thoughts to create new emotions. Let me explain how this works in practical terms. Every time you learn something new, you create new neural connections. But to make these connections stable, you need to repeat the new thoughts and behaviors while maintaining an elevated emotional state. This is why information alone isn't enough. You need to combine knowledge with feeling to create change. Think of it like this. Your brain is like a circuit board. Every time you think a thought, you fire a specific sequence of neurons. When you combine that thought with an elevated emotion like gratitude or joy, you're soldering those neural connections into place. Do this enough times, and you literally create new neural networks, new pathways for your thoughts to follow. The process of transformation requires you to become conscious of your unconscious states. You must become aware of how you think, how you act, and most importantly, how you feel. This awareness alone begins to break the habit of being yourself. When you notice yourself falling into old patterns, that noticing creates a space between stimulus and response. In that space lies your power to change. But here's the most exciting part. As you create these new neural networks, your brain starts to work differently. Your power to change anything in your life exists in one place only, this present moment. Most people miss this incredible truth because they're constantly living in memory of the past or anticipation of the future. But the quantum field, that invisible field of all possibilities, can only be accessed now, in this moment. Time isn't what you think it is. Neuroscience shows us that your brain combines memories of the past with expectations of the future to create your experience of the present moment. But here's what's fascinating. When you learn to step out of linear time through meditation, when you become pure consciousness in the present moment, you literally change how your genes express themselves. We've measured this in the lab. When people enter a state of heart coherence, where their heart rhythms become perfectly ordered, their brain waves synchronize with their heart's magnetic field, in this state, something extraordinary happens. Their bodies begin producing new proteins, their immune system strengthens, and their brain starts creating new neural connections. All this happens not through years of therapy or medication, but through the power of being fully present in the now. But accessing this state requires more than just sitting quietly. You must combine presence with elevated emotions. When you generate feelings of gratitude, joy, or inspiration while maintaining present moment awareness, your heart's magnetic field expands. This field becomes a bridge between your consciousness and the quantum field of all possibilities. Let me explain this practically. Think about the last time you were completely absorbed in something you loved, maybe playing music, creating art, or being in nature. In that state, you lost track of time. Your inner critic went quiet. You weren't thinking about your problems or your past. You were purely present. That state of presence, combined with the elevated emotion of joy or creativity, literally change your brain chemistry. This is why heart coherence is so crucial. Your heart generates a magnetic field 5,000 times stronger than your brain's. When you bring your attention to your heart center and generate positive emotions, you create a coherent field that affects every cell in your body. More importantly, this field extends beyond your physical body and interacts with the secret is learning to maintain this state. Most people can access it briefly, but they quickly fall back into their old emotional patterns. But when you practice staying present while holding elevated emotions, something remarkable happens. Your body begins to believe the future you're creating is happening right now. Your cells start receiving new signals. Your DNA begins expressing itself differently. It's all because you learned to combine presence with elevated emotional states in the eternal now. Now I'm going to share exactly how to put everything we've discussed into practice. The most powerful time to reshape your brain and create your new future is in the morning, right after you wake up. Why? Because in those first moments of consciousness, your brain is still in theta waves, the same state you access in deep meditation. You're more suggestible, more connected to your subconscious mind. Start by waking up 30 minutes earlier than usual. Don't check your phone. Don't think about your to-do list. Find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Sit up straight with your eyes closed. Begin by focusing on your breath. Slow, steady inhales and exhales. This simple act starts to shift your brain waves from beta to alpha state. Now bring your attention to your energy centers, starting at the base of your spine. As you breathe, feel each center activating, warming, expanding. Move your attention up through your body from survival to creation to willpower to love to expression to insight and finally to connection with something greater than yourself. This process takes about 5 to 7 minutes and it prepares your body energetically for transformation. Here's where most people miss the opportunity. They stop at relaxation. But this is exactly when you need to introduce the emotions of your future self. Think about who you're becoming. Feel the gratitude of already being that person. Generate the emotions of joy, freedom, abundance, whatever matches your desired future. Your body doesn't know the difference between a real experience and one you're creating in your mind with enough emotional intensity. We've scanned people's brains during this process. When they combine clear intention with elevated emotion, their frontal lobe lights up like a Christmas tree. This is crucial because your frontal lobe, when fired in the right sequence, begins to release specific chemicals that help create new neural networks. You're literally installing the neurological hardware of your future self. And this is driving the mind to be very aggressive, meaning their critical imagination says, maintain this state for at least 15 minutes. If your mind wanders to problems or your present circumstances, gently bring it back to your future. Feel it as if it's happening now. See the details, experience the sensations. The more real you make it, the more your brain and body will believe it's already happened. Throughout your day, set reminders to check your emotional state. Most people let their environment trigger their old programs, but you're going to do something different. Every hour, take 60 seconds to reconnect with the elevated emotions you generated in your morning practice. This maintains the momentum of change. Remember, transformation isn't a one-time event, it's a practice. Your old self will try to pull you back into familiar patterns. This is normal. When this happens, stop and ask yourself, what would my future self do in this moment? Then act from that state of being. Each time you choose your future over your past, you strengthen the neural networks of your new self. The key to maintaining elevated states is preparation. Create a playlist of music that shifts you into positive emotional states. Keep inspiring content readily available. Set up your environment to support your transformation. Most importantly, remember that every moment is a choice. You can either reinforce your past self or step into your future self. Let's talk about what's really stopping you from creating lasting change. You know those moments of doubt that creep in, that voice that says, this isn't working, or who am I to think I can change? That's not your voice. It's the voice of your old self, fighting for survival. Your old self has neural networks, emotional patterns, and chemical addictions that don't want to die. Here's what happens. You start your morning meditation, you're feeling great, connected to your future. Then your phone rings. Your boss sends a stressful email, your family member criticizes you. Suddenly, you're right back in your old emotional patterns. This happens because your environment is filled with triggers designed to pull you back into your past self. The solution isn't to change your entire environment overnight. It's to change how you respond to it. When triggers appear, use them as opportunities to practice being your future self. Each trigger becomes a chance to rewire your brain.